Good day, everybody. Thank you for joining today's webinar. We really appreciate you taking the time to hear the latest and greatest ClearPath Forward news. Today, several members from the ClearPath Forward team join me to discuss the newest addition to the ClearPath Forward integrated stack systems family, the Dorado 8590, the Dorado 6590, the 4590, and the 4580. We are reaching new heights while enabling your flexibility. Several housekeeping items before we get started. For one, all the attendees are muted. Chat functionality has been disabled, but if you have any questions or comments, I ask and I encourage you to submit those by clicking on the Q&A tab or the Q&A box at the bottom of this window. So moving to today's topics, the agenda. We have Chuck Lefebvre joins us. He will discuss the ClearPath Forward focus, strategy, and the flexible options you have when deploying your application workloads. Bob LaFleur, he will provide a ClearPath Forward Dorado overview while highlighting what's new. And Betsy Roush will discuss several ClearPath services options to make the transition seamless. So at this time, I will hand the presentation over to Chuck to dive into the first topic.
Thanks very much, Bradley, and thank you to all of our attendees today. We know in this global environment with a lot of uncertainty around COVID-19 that many of your worlds, as mine, has been turned a little bit upside down, both personally and professionally. Many of you are likely working from home. Some of you, due to the nature of your work, do need to stay working in your place of business. We certainly, in this time of this global pandemic, really thank you for your attendance today. We know there's probably a little extra burden on you to be able to do so today. So thank you very much at the outset for that. I'm going to give you a bit of a bigger picture before Bob drills into the details on our particular announcement today. So Bob, if you can go to the next slide, please. What we're trying to highlight here on this slide is on the right side, some of the traditional things that we're continuing to address and keep as a focus in our integrated systems. You'll hear from Bob about the performance and capacity, rather significant performance and capacity that we've increased in this new product offering, particularly the 8500. As we're doing that, we always keep the reliability and security attributes squarely in our vision. Every element that we've applied there retains those ClearPath attributes that we've built over 50 years. Those remain a key focus for the work that we're doing when we introduce these new integrated systems. As we swing to the left side of the chart, you're going to see in a few minutes, more and more we're offering choice in how and where you deploy your OS 2200 systems. Today, Bob's going to focus on those integrated hardware platforms that still remains the choice for the majority of our clients. They've built their systems, their infrastructure on those. That's where they want to stay. But more and more, we're seeing other clients start to deploy with our software series in private cloud. And you'll hear a little bit of a teaser from me today about the work we're doing, and you'll hear more about that as we proceed through 2020 for offering the execution of OS 2200 in public clouds. So that's about the flexibility and choice that you have in deciding where and how you run your OS 2200 application environment. At the top, from a software point of view, Bob, if you could go back, please, one slide. We have a lot of software evolution underway. Things like microservice enablement, digital transformation. You'll hear more about that in the coming month. We're introducing later this year the ability to develop and maintain your ClearPath OS 2200 applications in Python and Java alongside of COBOL, and bringing in more open tools to help make your development processes more robust and automated. Okay, Bob, next slide. So here we're trying to show at a very high level the systems that Bob is going to be talking about. No real significant change. This from the bottom up, the platform we select, it comes from our platform supplier, but we pick it, make the choice of which hardware we're going to use. We put it in a cabinet. We embed the Linux or Windows operating systems that we need to use to host that environment. And the purple is really our Unisys software. Up at the top is your application workload. So in this integrated system model, your application is running on a software and hardware stack that we've selected. It has a defined performance level, and the support comes from Unisys. As on this next slide, when you look at what our software series product is, which we began offering to the general market in the middle of 2019, you will see that the bottom three layers have moved from Unisys supplied, as depicted originally on the previous slide on the right side of the slide, to the left side, which is client supplied. So you, the client, can choose which Intel platform to deploy OS 2200 on. You can use VMware if you wish to virtualize that. You obtain the Windows operating environment for the selected optional components, but the purple stays the same. Our system software and your application remain unchanged. It's just executing in a different place. That transition occurs to those open platforms, to your virtualized data center, to your private cloud, if you want to call it that, with no application change, recompilation, or refactoring of the data. This gives you the flexibility to choose to deploy OS 2200 on common platforms that your IT infrastructure and the rest of your organization is using. This is available today. It is the second choice of where you run. The third choice on this next slide is a future product that's under development today that we've been starting to provide a little more information and insight to. Again, in this case, again, the lower levels of the infrastructure come from your cloud provider. Essentially, we'll be running OS 2200, our system software, and your application workload on a platform as a service, essentially, running in a public cloud. We're likely to do that first on Azure due to the market analysis we've done and the general interest. What's really important to you and to us is that you can transition these workloads, again, with no change to your application. That gray box at the top remains unchanged because of the blue firmware layer that we have, and it's still running our ClearPath operating system. Again, a third choice in the future, and is squarely a part of our strategy to give you that third choice of where you run your OS 2200 environment, allowing you to leverage what you perceive to be the economies of a public cloud deployment. On this last and final slide that I'm going to use today, I'm just trying to summarize that flexibility you have. Bob's going to be going into great depth on the top option, the Dorado platform. Again, everything comes from us. You know and understand that traditional delivery and support model. Performance and capacity, we can explicitly define because we've picked the hardware. It doesn't change between deployments, and we can characterize that very carefully. In the software series, running in a private cloud, we've introduced that already. We make some recommendations on how best to deploy that. In the future, as I just indicated, you'll be able to do that in a public cloud. Here, performance and capacity is characterized in a more general manner. You're going to be picking the hardware, so we can describe the things in that platform that will impact performance and how, but in the end, the performance is in large part driven by what platform you're delivering and running on. Each of these gives you choice, varying levels of deployment and change flexibility, different types of methods for achieving failover and high availability, and the more we move higher in the stack, where Unisys is only providing some parts of the stack, now you have a mixed support model where you go to other organizations. So I'm now going to turn it over to Bob to drill into the first choice on this list, the Dorado platforms and our new products that we're introducing today. Bob, it's all yours.
Okay, Chuck, thank you all very much. Thank you for joining today. Again, today we will be going over the latest introductions to the ClearPath Forward Dorado systems. Very pleased to have the capability to release another set of the Dorado platforms. This has been an ongoing evolution for many of us over the last few years. We've seen the wide acceptance of the ClearPath Forward on Intel components in the last few years, and I think most of you joining today have already personally experienced the ClearPath Dorado on Intel platform. Today we introduce the latest generation of those Dorado systems. We maintain a continued focus on the performance and scalability within those systems. We've done some exceptional performance increases in the premium, the Dorado 8500 we'll be talking about today. But in each of these new systems, we've developed new I/O capabilities and new memory limits that'll show an advantage to anyone who gets one of these new systems. The ClearPath Forward Dorado systems are pre-configured for you. Again, these attributes are things that change a little bit between the Dorado and the software series and future products. But with the Dorado systems, we maintain the capability of providing for our clients the high availability, the scalability, the measured and standardized performance, as well as the interoperability and compatibility and manageability that we've delivered in the past. Again, each of these attributes are available with the other options that we've introduced and will be introducing, but there are different methodologies for getting to that state. This chart should look pretty familiar to most of you. I've used something like this on prior webcasts. Again, this is the ClearPath Forward integrated stack as implemented on Dorado. We maintain a distributed functional architecture on multiple Unisys supplied Intel platforms. Again, we go out and pick the latest best of breed Intel platforms with our suppliers and implement then the various components for the application processing, for the I/O processing, the management, and some of our associated workloads over on the far right side, like the QProcessor. Those are all then developed, tested, and manufactured in a single component system or a single unified system that then is provided by Unisys. One of the new things you'll see here is that we've changed to a standardized Ethernet connection between the processing I/O modules. That is a private Ethernet network that is now available with the 4500s, 6500s, and 8500s. And it's one of those things that is our move towards the infrastructure standardization that Chuck was talking about in one of his earlier slides. Now, as part of this overall integrated stack, we do have the capability to continue to provide a solution for QProcessor and ePortal on Unisys defined platforms that are then delivered with these systems. And as such, this entire infrastructure, this integrated stack, is delivered and supported by Unisys. So it's the standard support model that many of you have experienced over the years with your Dorado systems. And although some things have changed in this, there are a couple things that, again, we maintain very strictly. Number one is compatibility with your application code and with the data formats that you rely on within those applications. The other thing that we take very seriously is our security. And we're happy to say that we continue to monitor the security for the OS 2200 infrastructure and operating systems. And through this year, we have not had any vulnerabilities of on the OS 2200. Again, this chart is maintained on a national database. We go out on a regular basis and pull up the information. And in all levels, the OS 2200 continues to be the most secure operating environment that's in the industry. So I'm now going to change and talk specifically about the new platforms that we are releasing. Again, there are 4 new platforms, the 8590, 6590, and 4580 and 4590 that we will be introducing today. Again, these are the latest Intel-based Dorado systems. We've done a complete change of the Intel components utilized within these systems. We'll see some significant improvements in the premium, the highest level of performance available within the 8000 class. We've also improved the single image performance on the 6000 range of systems. I'll get into more details on those as we continue on. And again, the I/O capacities, the memory capacities have all been expanded to keep pace with the performance that comes through these new systems. As part of the release that we'll be introducing with these platforms, we do have a new QProcessor platform itself. Talk more about what that is. And with this release of the systems, we will have the capability to support the OS 2200 clustering through the XPCL. Again, the 4500, 6500, and 8500 are our traditional multi-server distributed architecture. We've put high availability in all of these models. That means redundant ISMs, PMMs, all the infrastructure components, dual connections, dual switches as needed. Everything is as high availability as we can possibly make it. Each of these platforms does have the capability to host 2 OS 2200 partitions, which in effect doubles the workload capacity. And as in previous releases, you can mix those workloads to have a mix of production and development and test as needed within a single OS 2200 cabinet. We've expanded the memory on all of these platforms. We now provide, even on the 4500 family, 24 gigawords of OS 2200 memory. So that's quite an expansive range of OS 2200 memory that's available, and we're working on new software uses to make use of that memory. In addition, on the 8500, we do have an upgrade where you can actually double that 24 gigawords to 48 gigawords for high performance UDS environments. And as I said, we've got new configurability and networking capabilities. That includes more card slots available for both the network and storage connections. So let's talk first about the Dorado 8590. The 8590 again raises the performance bar for all of our most high intensity workloads that are needed by many of our clients. The 8590 is significantly improved in not only the single image performance, but in single thread performance. We talked a little about the memory. Again, its standard memory has been expanded, as well as an additional memory upgrade is available. The storage and network connections, again, have kept pace with this, where we'll see that the overall I/O processing has been increased significantly. So we're very happy that we have clients that continue to push the upper edge of what is needed for OS 2200. And the Dorado 8590 fulfills our commitment to those clients that really rely on the high processing capacity of our Dorado family for their core business functions. Now here's some of the specifics on the 8590. Again, single thread performance has improved by 36% over the previous Dorado 8400 single thread performance. Now it was 925 MIPS, up to 925 MIPS for a single thread. The overall single image performance has also been expanded, and that's gone up 50% over the 8400, so that you can now get 12,000 MIPS from a single image, a single partition workload within the 8590. Now the 8590 is a purely metered product offering. Many of our clients have looking for the 8590, the metered performance. As such, the highest performance that is usually recommended on an average is 8400 MIPS, and that's with the 12,000 MIPS ceiling. Again, the memory improvements have gone up by 50% over the 8400 on the Dorado 8500, 24 gigawords of standard memory, and an additional 24 gigawords for UDS. I/O capacities have kept pace with the very high-end 8590. Again, we have increased I/O throughputs up to 590,000 I/Os per second. That's with a fully configured 4 ISM partition. And that's about a little over 11% more throughput than we had with the I/Os per second on a Dorado 8400. Again, we've improved the I/O connectivity. We have 7 HBA slots for storage connections, up 16%, and now 6 internet NIC cards in the PMM, which is a 20% improvement. So you have not only the higher performance, you've got more capacity in order to utilize that higher performance with the I/O cards availability. Some of the new I/O cards that are available, again, we have a 40 gigabit Ethernet NIC for connecting to a very high-speed client network. We've got several options for the storage connections, a quad port 16 gigabit HBA, a new dual port 32 gigabit HBA, and a new 16 gigabit FICON connection for connecting to DLM tape devices. Now, part of this overall release is our new performance models for the 6000 range. A Dorado 6590 maintains a single thread performance of 550 MIPS and a single image performance of 5000 MIPS, which is a 25% improvement over the 6490. Again, the performance range we recommend approximately 70%. We'd like to see the average contracted run rate. So with a 5,000 MIPS ceiling, it's available for up to 3,500 MIPS per partition. We also are introducing the Dorado 4590 and 4580. Again, we have both a metered and a non-metered traditional model within the 4000 class systems. Those performance levels are pretty much on par with the Dorado 4400. Again, we are providing additional memory, additional I/O capacity as part of these platforms, but the overall single thread and single image on the 4000 has not seen a major increase. We review the needs of our clients in each of our market spaces and try to match the performance needs with the revised platforms. This then shows the overall chart of the various models versus those that we have released here in the last few years. Again, you can see the significant growth on the Dorado 8500 platform over the 8400 and even the 8300s. It's almost twice the performance of what was available with the 8300 just a few years ago. Each of these, the new models, maintains the full I/O and memory capacity. Again, there's no added memory other than the UDS memory on the 8590 that needs to be added for most clients. And dual partition really doubles the performance of each of the new models here. I've included this chart again just to show in a good reference point a comparison between the Dorado 4500, 6500, and 8500 models. Again, you can see the number of IPs that are supported in each of these platforms, the various memory options, again, the different types of I/O connections, the new capabilities, as well as the number of partitions. Again, 2 partitions are available on each of these platforms. Okay, we talked a little bit about the Dorado 45 and 65 already. Again, it's the same exact hardware as delivered with the 8590. So all those high performance capabilities are there in the platform. Some of the newer capabilities that are again going out with this release are the QProcessor platform, the expanded XPCL5 clustering capability, and this, the 4500, 6500, and 8500 are now qualified with the ePortal 10 level of software. Again, there's a platform that's been available on the ePortal as part of ePortal 9 that's available with these systems, but the 10.0 software is also going to be supported. A little bit on the hardware, not going to spend a lot of time here. Again, it's updated Intel-based processors, the latest Intel Gold processors with 18 cores. And this actually is a 2-socket, 2U server that's a common platform for not only the PMM and ISM on the Dorado family, but also the QProcessor and XPCL5. Again, we're using a high-speed private Ethernet connection between the PMMs and ISMs. That's a 100 gigabit connection, so it's actually faster than the InfiniBand that we had used in previous releases. And as part of a ClearPath system, it's fully redundant with switches, cabling, etc. There is a new op server, again with an updated Intel server, 1U server with the latest Intel Xeon processors, and the new ISM capability within the ISMs for connecting with an XPCL5. Again, that's an Ethernet connection that is now used to support the XPCL5 platform. So we've done a real effort here as part of the standardization to move towards more Ethernet connections than some of the other methodologies that we've used to connect the PMMs or XPCL in this case. It's part of an overall strategy we're developing to make it easier for clients then to move some of these capabilities to new releases that will utilize these industry standard type of components. Again, high availability is a main feature of the Dorado families. We talked about the redundancy that's built into the processing components. We've got all the full features you'd expect from a modern Intel server componentry with mirrored memory and redundant power supplies, things of that nature. And that then is replicated within the Dorado system on all the components that we possibly can have made with redundant design, so that you've got multiple PMMs. The high performance, the high availability PMM is part of the overall capability, as well as the IO capabilities. The ISMs are paired for the redundant storage connections. I'm going to talk a little bit now about some of the other things we're releasing as part of the Dorado 4565 and 8500 introduction. We'll talk first about the QProcessor. The QProcessor family, again, is part of the overall integration of OS 2200 with the IBM MQ series devices. Allows you to exchange information between the OS 2200 and the other platforms that support the IBM MQ series. It's really very tightly integrated within the OS 2200 TIP and HV TIP environments, and it's really a great way to have a guaranteed delivery of messages to those other hosts in those environments. Now, the latest release of the QProcessor architecture was actually delivered with the OS 2200 software series. It's the QProcessor 5.0 capabilities. So you get the latest QProcessor firmware, but for the Dorado 4565 and 8500, that's been preloaded within Unisys onto those platforms. So it's another one of those pieces that we maintain as part of an overall Unisys supported hardware and software implementation. We've got a new web-based admin console that's available for the 5.0 firmware, streamlined administration, and there's an updated format of just the look and feel, and there's even encryption has been introduced for connecting to the SAN storage that's used within most QProcessor environments. Again, there's an HA clustering capability that's been utilized and been updated for improved performance. And we've even put some, again, encryption between not only the QProcessor and the SAN storage, but also between the Dorado and the QProcessor. Now, again, the high availability is very important. Is this part of a Dorado implementation, just as it is with the overall implementation in the Dorado platform itself. We maintain the HA capability failover between OS 2200 QProcessors, where we monitor the connectivity between QProcessors within an HA cluster. This diagram shows again the storage that's common between those two devices, allowing the HA failover to happen more readily. This does require QProcessors in pairs, which is typically the way that most of our clients implement QProcessors. And it does allow for licensing of the WebSphere, however, only for the active number of QProcessors. So it's part of this overall high availability strategy that we try to take with everything we do within a Dorado family. Again, we recognize the importance that our clients put on their OS 2200 processing capability. So things like the QProcessor HA are a natural implementation that we try to make readily available for all of our products. Taking it to the next level though, a few of our clients have implemented the XPC or Extended Processing Complex for the ClearPath OS 2200. Again, this is actual clustering, multi-host clustering of OS 2200 processing hosts, all working with common applications and a shared data system that is maintained by the XPCL. Again, the XPCL maintains the consistency for the data with multiple OS 2200 Dorado hosts. And like all of our platforms, again, that full redundancy of the XPCL servers, the host connections, and storage components is maintained. This is the ultimate in high availability for an OS 2200 processing environment. It allows you to replace Dorado hosts without stopping your overall OS 2200 processing, or to work on things like firmware or plateau updates within the hosts and the XPCL itself. It's really designed for the very highest levels of nonstop environments that we can provide for the OS 2200. Multiple systems accessing and updating a shared database, even accessing the same record within that database. It provides for a horizontal growth capability. And with the latest releases of the XPCL, including the XPCL 5 that's currently shipping, you can support up to 6 fully configured Dorado host partitions. So you can see now with the 8590, we could support a single OS 2200 processing complex of up to 72,000 MIPS, a truly amazing amount of processing power that's available for some of our most intense OS 2200 client workloads. All right, in summary then, working towards the Dorado release information. Again, the Dorado 8590 is available now. We've been shipping with the Plateau 1.0 release of this product from the 4th quarter. As of April 9th, we will have available the Dorado 6590, 4580, and 4590. Those platforms will be available and should be introduced to the unisys.com and other places where you can find more information beginning today. On April 9th, we'll also start shipping the Plateau 2 release of this overall software for these platforms, and that will include support for the XPCL, as well as the expanded I/O capabilities, the new cards that I've discussed, and the support for ePortal 10.0. These releases will require the operating system release 18.0 or later. So that's a base requirement in order to be deployed on these platforms. And when utilized with the QProcessor, you need to be running the WebSphere MQ for OS 2200 version 9.0 and some of the other interconnect and OS 2200 software releases shown here. So again, I thank you all for coming today. I think you can see that we've now got a fully enhanced and refreshed full range of performance models for the Dorado family. The 4580 and 4590 platforms, the mid-range, the 6590 high-end, and the premium performance 8590. Each with improved I/O performance and updated network connectivity, and with more standard memory, as well as the capability of supporting a connection in an XPCL5 cluster. So with that, I'm going to turn our presentation over to Betsy Rausch, and she'll be discussing ClearPath Forward services. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Bob. So hello, everyone. Today I'm going to provide you with a high-level view of our ClearPath service offering team and showcase just a couple key service areas. You know, our ClearPath client base is broad and it encompasses several industries, but one thing that you all have in common is that your ClearPath system is mission critical to your business. You may be already aware and perhaps taken advantage of some of our ClearPath services, but my goal today is to share information on services you may not be aware of that are available to you and could help you with your present situation, or perhaps an initiative that you soon may be undertaking. Bob, next slide. So to start off, I wanted to share a couple of challenges our clients have told us about and shared in the past. Perhaps you have a similar challenge. So for example, are you looking for skilled staff who understand both ClearPath Forward and your business? Our ClearPath systems have traditionally required few people to maintain and monitor them, but that means lower staffing needs can mean higher key person risk. That includes not only your operations and administration staff, but also developers and testers. Do you need to focus more on the business and not underlying IT? Companies across all industries are reducing or removing their need to run a data center. A key factor of that can be high facility costs to meet modern data center requirements, things like efficiency and security. Or perhaps you just have strategic goals to move to cloud or cloud services. Is your company on or soon to be on a digital transformation journey? ClearPath systems are systems of record at the core of any enterprise architecture. And our enabling technologies like ePortal, message queuing, AIS, and other .NET and Java-based products enable access to your ClearPath system of record. Our ClearPath services can help with these challenges and others that you may have. I'm going to share with you how we can help you achieve your goals and alleviate those challenges. Next slide. The services I'm going to speak to you about make up a portion of the broader suite of ClearPath Forward services that you see on this slide. Our ClearPath services are an integrated and holistic set of services to help maximize your investments in ClearPath Forward-based applications, infrastructure, tools, and skills. Our services provide the expertise and support you need so you can plan and execute innovation initiatives without taking focus off your business. Most of our clients are familiar with our more basic offerings, such as implementation services, training, education, and general consulting. But we also provide deeper, more comprehensive efforts around application enrichment, transformation support, as well as managed services and outsourcing. Our services can help you leverage the modernization, integration, and automation technologies inherent in ClearPath Forward. And our services can help you increase the value of your core business applications, simplify operations and administration of all, which mitigates business continuity risk, and allows you to maintain a balance between IT innovation, continuous delivery, and operation. So let's take a quick look at our advisory services. Next slide. Our ClearPath advisory services are like a GPS for IT. They provide a roadmap that balances both your IT initiatives and their benefits against the cost so you can make the best use of your IT budget. Our advisory services identify how to use automation to move to higher business value initiatives that drive business agility and growth. They help you streamline your applications and integration capabilities to bring new business services online more quickly and more efficiently to meet business demand. Oftentimes, clients use the ClearPath advisory services as a starting point to better understand the role and to better leverage their ClearPath systems in their innovation initiatives. Our advisory services can help you understand your operational or your organizational maturity in regards to both automation and integration. They can provide recommendations on how to improve the use of your ClearPath technologies and ensure long-term application and operational readiness. Understand the distribution costs of your IT environment, both from a technology and people perspective, and identify where your organizational skill sets are, where there are gaps, and provide recommendations for how to close those gaps, as well as ensure that your ClearPath Forward systems perform at the optimum and most cost-effective level. Other services can help you understand the best options for integrating and modernizing your ClearPath Forward applications. And if you find you have far too many initiative requests or challenges to wrap your head or even your arms around, we can help you identify innovation opportunities and develop high-level business cases and implementation roadmaps to achieve them. Next slide. With our ClearPath application services, we can help you enable ClearPath application modernization and integration with microservices or service-oriented architecture or API architecture, as well as data integration within an enterprise architecture. We can help you transform your applications through optimization, refactoring, or even further development. And if you find you are running short of key skill set, we can also manage, support, and maintain your ClearPath Forward applications. Next slide. If you find you're faced with a digital transformation initiative or another initiative which requires that you integrate your ClearPath in ways you've not before, our ClearPath Evolution services can help you leverage your ClearPath system in a way that reduces risk but maximizes use of your applications and data. We view application evolution as a journey of transformation from an as-is state in which your current or further future organizational needs are not completely met, to a future to-be state in which those needs are met and are incrementally closer to being met. It involves a comprehensive architecture and well-defined roadmap with object-focused initiatives. The focus here is on evolution, incrementally evolving into that future state in a planned and organized fashion. Our ClearPath Forward application evolution services can help modernize and integrate your ClearPath system via industry standard interfaces and mechanisms and provide data analytics enablement to help you take advantage of and adopt new technologies without risk to your mission-critical ClearPath applications and data. Next slide. Our ClearPath application management services can help you during times when you need to focus your existing developers on activities other than maintaining applications, or when you find yourself short of a skill set. You can decide what level of service you require and for how long. Whether you require just one or two resources, a subset of resources or coverage, or if you would prefer we take on all of the application responsibility. We can provide application support and maintenance, resolving application-related issues, and even providing fixes to source code or data as needed. We can also provide application operations, the day-to-day monitoring of your applications and various batch runs. We monitor various reports that get generated for discrepancies, and we can provide application infrastructure support, things like performance testing, patch access control, etc. And in addition, we can also provide services to perform some of all or all of your application testing, helping develop test cases and automated scripts to provide a higher degree of automation in testing efforts. Next slide. So our managed services roadmap, whether that be application managed services, ClearPath infrastructure managed services, or even entire data center managed services, is incremental and evolutionary. We do not believe in a big bang approach. This means you can start small and in discrete areas through our staff augmentation services, moving up the maturity spectrum as it fits your needs and schedule. We want to ensure that you can increasingly focus on your business innovation and not running your data center. Next slide. For clients who no longer want to manage some or all aspects of their data center, we can provide management services either through staff augmentation or managed services delivery models to best satisfy your requirements. We can provide support for your hardware, software network, storage, and tools, providing a 24/7 operations services supported through our Unisys Global Delivery Centers, as well as system and database administration. This can provide year-over-year cost savings through gained inefficiencies, innovation, analytical insights, improved knowledge management, and automation. Next slide. And then finally, what most of our clients recognize are our ClearPath product services. They help make sure your ClearPath Forward systems and related technologies remain well equipped to handle your most business critical processes. You'll have the support and expertise you need to keep them up to date with current software and hardware levels, aligned with future capacity needs, and primed to leverage new technologies that can help you achieve your initiatives. Product services can assist you in your journey with ClearPath software series and extend the capabilities provided by Unisys solutions such as ePortal, OS 2200 MQ series, Data Exchange, AB Suite, Enterprise Output Manager, Operations Sentinel, etc., and others. We understand the importance of your ClearPath Forward system. It's the hub of your most critical processes, and in many cases, running an exceptionally high volume of transactions, delivering unparalleled data integrity. Next slide. So with that, I want to leave you with this takeaway. Our Unisys core strengths contribute as a whole to the value we provide our clients globally. We care about our clients, and we listen to their challenges, deliver differentiated solutions with confidence. Our industry-level client satisfaction and our strong record of delivering as promised shows our commitment to delivering better outcomes for our clients. Next slide. So with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Bradley Hill.
Thank you, Betsy, and thank you, Bob and Chuck, for wonderful presentations today. Before we depart, we want to have a brief Q&A section. So just as a reminder, I'd like to just to remind you guys to submit a question. You may click on the Q&A button at the bottom of the window that you are viewing. So you can do that now. I'll give you guys some time to type your questions. And while you guys are typing your questions, what we'll do, let me just give you a preview to some of our efforts this year. This is the first of several different webinars that we'll be kicking off this year. The next webinar actually occurs in a few weeks. The topic is digital transformation and how you can embrace digital transformation. It supports your digital transformation trends and also supports microservices initiatives. So this is going to be planned in later in April, mid to late April, and keep an eye on your email for those invitations. It really highlights a couple of our key solutions, ePortal as well as AIS, which were mentioned today as a part of this presentation. Okay. Just another moment or so while we aggregate some questions. And again, you can click on the Q&A button at the bottom of the window and feel free to type your questions there now. All right, so while we're waiting, I'll just read one of the questions that came in this far. This was submitted earlier during the webinar. What is the mechanism to sync up and collaborate with fellow customers who have similar systems to us? I noticed that Carnival has a similar system. They invested in the Dorado 8590 like us. And additionally, what about considering a customer advisory board to obtain valuable insight from key customers on a wide variety of topics, including the portfolio roadmaps, sales and services, technical support, and marketing initiatives? One of the ways to one of the key ways that Unisys facilitates our collaboration in North America is via our participation along with clients at the annual Unite conference. This is an annual conference that is held by a third-party organization that we closely work with. This year it's scheduled on October 19th. It will take place in Atlanta, Georgia. And we encourage all clients to attend. The schedule, of course, it may, just due to the pandemic, we'll certainly reevaluate things as we get closer to that date. But you can stay on top of all the latest and greatest information on the Unite conference by going to their website, unite.org. And in addition, we've taken a note to reach out to the client executive for the client that submitted that question. Others who are interested in collaborating with us, feel free to reach out to us at ClearPath Forward at unisys.com, all one word, and we will route your inquiry to the necessary party. Okay. All right, so if there are no other questions, let me just remind you guys that this session has been recorded, so you may review it again at your convenience. And for some of your associates and colleagues who were unable to join at this particular time, you can also share that recording with them. And I'll be sending this to all the folks who registered for this event, as well as posting it on unisys.com and our Unisys ClearPath YouTube channel. So with that, I'll close the session. Thank you guys all for joining. Have a great day, a great evening, and stay safe.